Are you a night owl? Do you stay up till the wee hours? Do you stay up till the wee hours of the morning? Do you know what that means? Well guys, in this video I'm going to teach you about 12 idioms to talk about going to sleep. Okay, going to bed. And we might throw in a few extra words. I'm going to teach you about 12 to 15 words. Okay, I made a list on my phone. So I'm going to teach you some new words about going to bed. The first question you can ask someone is, what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? Okay, very often English learners, they would say, what time do you sleep? What time do you sleep? That's wrong. Because we never ask about sleep. Because it changes every night, right? Like, do you fall asleep at exactly the same time every night? No, it's always a bit different, right? I mean, you might go to bed at the same time every night, right? Let's say you go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. Do you fall asleep at 10? No. Do you fall asleep at 10:30? No, it changes, right? If you go to bed at 10 o'clock every night, you might fall asleep sometimes right away. As soon as your head hits the pillow, you might be out like a light. To be out like a light means you're done, you're sleeping, right? So you could say, I usually fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. I usually fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. I'm out. I'm out. It means you're sleeping. Okay, but most people don't fall asleep right away. If you do, you're lucky. Some people don't sleep at all. Like me, like yours truly. Yours truly means me. Yours truly. It's weird because yours, no, it doesn't mean your, it means yours truly means you're talking about yourself. Okay, so yours truly very often struggles with insomnia. Insomnia is a medical condition, basically. Maybe it's not a medical condition. It just means you can't sleep. You have a hard time falling asleep. That's called insomnia. Okay? Guys, look at that beautiful sun there. Wow. And a nice lake of snow. Man, it's cold out here, guys. I thought it was going to be warm. It's freezing out here. Should have worn some gloves. All right, so the question you should ask people is, what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? You're asking them about their routine, right? So the time you go to bed is not the time you fall asleep, okay? But it's just, we use this word go to bed to mean that whole event where you're going to fall asleep. That's the purpose, right? You're going to fall asleep, but we don't use the word sleep. We use the word go to bed, okay? So you could say, I go to bed at 11 o'clock every night. I usually go to bed after midnight, you could say. Okay, so we don't say I usually sleep after midnight. No, I usually go to bed. Okay, so that's a first tip for you. If you want to ask someone about their routine, say, what time do you go to bed? Okay, now, like I said, I got a list of words I want to teach you. Now, what did I say before? I said wee hours. Okay, so if you are a night owl, Are you a night owl? That means a person who likes to stay up late. If you stay up after midnight every night, let's say you go to bed at like 2 or 3 a.m. that every night, that means you're a night owl. You like being awake in the night, okay? You go to bed late, you're a night owl. So are you a night owl? Let me know in the comments if you're a night owl. I'm a night owl. I always stay up till the wee hours. What is the wee hours? Wee hours means, guys, I'm cold. Kind of like moving around to try to stay warm. There's people coming up on the path there. Guys, I think the temperature is above 0, so I'm a bit scared to try to cross this ice. I would walk across over there. But today the weather was, I think it was maybe like +5 in the day. Now it's not, I think now maybe it's like 1 or 2 degrees. But earlier it was pretty warm, and so I think the ice, I'm always scared to walk on ice if the temperature has been above 0. Then you know, it gives me the willies. If something gives you the willies, it means it just makes you kind of uncomfortable. It's that feeling of kind of being scared and yeah, just very uncomfortable. If you're almost like if something is scary or dangerous, it can give you the willies. So I could say walking on ice when the weather has been, you know, plus, like when we've had plus temperatures. Plus temperatures means it's not below 0, it's above 0. We call those plus temperatures. If we've had plus temperatures, then I'm scared to walk on ice because I think I'm gonna fall through the ice and perish. Perish is another way to say die. Wee hours means the late hours. Like probably you could describe anything after midnight and before 5 a.m. as the wee hours. So you could say, I stayed up till the wee hours working on my project. If you're working on some project for your work or your school or something, then you might stay up till the wee hours. You can either just say it alone, wee hours, or you can say wee hours of the morning. Because anything after midnight is actually the morning, right? It's AM. Anything AM is technically the morning. So the wee hours of the morning, yeah, maybe like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4, 5 a.m. Those are the wee hours. Okay? Wee with 2 E's, not just the other kind of wee, like you and me, wee. That's only with 1 E, but they're pronounced the same, right? Wee and wee. All right, so let me pull out my phone and I'll take a look at the list. I'll just kind of randomly go through the list, okay? So another way to say go to bed is hit the sack. All right, what time do you hit the sack every night? You could say, I hit the sack at, you know, midnight every night. Or if you're tired, you can say, Mark, I'm gonna hit the sack. My name is Mark, by the way. What's your name? So if you're tired, you can just tell, you can say, well, I'm gonna hit the sack. Hit the sack means go to bed. Okay, another way to say it is I'm gonna wind down for the night. Okay, if you wind down, that means you are going to get ready for bed. Okay, so let's say we're watching a movie and then we're talking, and let's say, so the movie's finished. Let's say it's like, you know, maybe midnight, and we're talking, and I'm kind of getting a bit sleepy. Then I could tell you, you know, I think I'm going to wind down for the night. Wind. Guys, I just about slipped. You can see there the ice is melting a bit, right? Or it was melting. The snow on the ice is melting because it's, you know, there's a layer of snow on top of the ice. It's a bit slushy. So anyway, yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, if you want to start getting ready for bed, you can say, I'm going to wind down. Wind down means just get ready for bed. Like maybe you'll brush your teeth. You will, I don't know. What do you do before bed? It means you're going to start doing your bedtime routine. You know, maybe you do some things before you go to bed. You might wash your face. You might brush your teeth. You might, I don't know. What do you do before you go to bed? So wind down doesn't mean you're going to bed right away. It means you're going to start the process of going to bed. Does that make sense? All right, guys, let's go back up onto the path here. Okay, so yeah, I could say, I think I'm going to wind down for the night. I'm going to start winding down. So you could either say it with ing or without. You could say, I'm going to wind down, or I'm going to start winding down. Both are the same thing, okay? So, that's what that means. That's a good one, actually, to use. I like that. I'm going to start winding down for the night. All right, so the next one is turn in, okay? So what does it mean if I say I'm going to turn in? I'm going to turn in, guys. I'm tired, guys. I'm going to turn in. Turn in means go to bed, okay? So all these basically mean the same thing, right? They're just different ways of saying go to bed. So I'm gonna turn in. What time do you usually turn in? I usually turn in after midnight. I usually turn in the wee hours. You know, I stay up till the wee hours and then I turn in around maybe 3 or 4 a.m. All right, guys, well, we got that way or that way. Which way do you want to go? Let's go this way, toward the sun. The sun's over there. I always like walking toward the sun. All right, guys, so what time do you turn in? All right, what's the next one on the list? Hit the hay. Did I say that one? Hit the sack. Hit the sack and hit the hay. They mean the same thing. All right, hit the hay. Hay is like what horses eat and cows and stuff like that. All right, guys, what's next on my list? Let's see. Catch some Z's. Okay, if you catch some Z's, that means you sleep. That's another way to talk about sleep. Okay, so you know when you sleep, like if, you know, for some reason the letters Z represent sleep. Z, right? Z, why that one? Do people make the sound Z when they sleep? Why is the letter Z represent, why does it represent sleep? I've never thought about that before. Have you ever thought about that before? I think it's maybe because when people sleep, they go like this. Zzz. Do you make that sound when you sleep? I don't know if I make that sound. I don't think I make that sound when I sleep, guys. Anyway, but Z means sleep for some reason. So if you catch some Z's, that means you sleep. Now that letter in the alphabet is pronounced Z here in Canada and Australia and England, but in American English it's pronounced Z. Okay, but in this idiom it's always pronounced Z, no matter which country you're in. Okay, you wouldn't say, I'm going to catch some Zs. No, it's always, I'm going to catch some Zs. Just means sleep. I need to catch some Z's, guys. It means I need to sleep. Okay, call it a night. Call it a night. Have you ever heard that? I'm gonna call it a night. Call it a night means, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to stop doing whatever I'm doing. Let's say we're watching a movie. I could say, you know what, I think I'm going to call it a night. That means I'm going to go to bed. So call it a night means the same as wind down, basically. Yeah. If you call it a night, that means you're going to finish your activities and then you're going to start your bedtime routine. Brushing your teeth, washing your face, getting into bed, and then finally falling asleep, right? So another word we use to talk about sleeping very deeply is fast asleep. Okay, so you could say, I was fast asleep when suddenly the fire alarm woke me up. People sneaking up behind me, guys. So if you're fast asleep, that means you're sleeping very deeply. Okay, maybe it's like 3 a.m. and you're just sound asleep. That also means fast asleep. Sound asleep, and suddenly the fire alarm in your building starts going off. Whatever, you jump out of bed and you're like, I need to escape the building so I don't get burnt alive if there's a fire, right? So if you're sleeping very deeply, you could say, I was sound asleep or I was fast asleep. Okay, so the word fast doesn't have anything to do with being quick. It's not that, it doesn't have that meaning. Fast means like you're sleeping very firmly, securely, deeply. I was fast asleep, okay? I was sound asleep, Another word is sleeping like a baby, okay? I slept like a baby last night. I slept like a baby last night. That means you slept very well. You slept very deeply. I was sound asleep. I was fast asleep. I slept like a baby, okay? If your wife sleeps very deeply, you could say, my wife sleeps very soundly. But you wouldn't say my wife sleeps very fastly. No, fast is sound. My wife sleeps very soundly. You could say that, but not with the word fast. I don't know why. Okay. So my wife was sound asleep when I dumped a bucket of cold water on her head. Would you do that to your wife or your husband? If your spouse is sleeping, if they're sleeping very soundly, if they're sleeping like a baby, would you take a bucket of cold water and dump it on their head? That would not be very nice, would it? Hopefully you guys don't come and dump a bucket of cold water on my head. But the chances are I wouldn't be sleeping anyway because I have insomnia. So I would get you back. I would take the bucket of water and I would dump it on your head. Okay, so what's next on the list? Out like a light. Did I say that already at the beginning? If you're out like a light, that means you fall asleep quickly. Usually we would say, like, if you're, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out like a light, or I was out like a light. Also we can use these words We can use this one for if people put you to sleep, if doctors or a dentist like puts you to sleep, like what's it called? Anesthetic? Like, you know, general anesthetic. If they're going to, let's say, pull out your wisdom teeth are the big teeth in the back. If they're going to extract your wisdom teeth, they might put you to sleep. Okay? So then you could say, I was out like a light. I was awake, and then suddenly I was out like a light. Out like a light. Okay? It just means you're sleeping now. Crash. Another way to say you're going to go to bed is you're going to crash. Guys, it's late here. I think I'm going to crash. I think I'm going to crash. That's another way to say I'm going to turn in. I'm going to go to bed. Right? I'm going to hit the sack. I'm going to hit the hay. I'm going to crash. All right. So, another word is winks. Winks is another word for sleep, okay? So if I say, I'm going to get some winks, I'm going to catch some winks, or I'm going to get some winks, that means I'm going to get some sleep. It's the same as catch some Z's. I'm going to get some Z's. I'm going to catch some Z's. Right? You can use the word get or catch. Both are the same. All right. So how about you? Are you going to get some winks? Or are you going to stay up and finish watching this video? Maybe it's late in your country. Maybe it's after midnight. Maybe it's the wee hours and you're still watching my video. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your support. Another way you could say it is, I didn't sleep a wink. If you don't sleep, if you didn't sleep all night, none, zero. Then you could say, I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't even sleep a wink last night. That means you didn't sleep at all. That's hard, right? It's a hard problem to have if you have insomnia. So another one, well, I said sleep like a baby. Another one is sleep like a log. Okay? You could say, I slept like a log last night. Okay? That's a good thing. It means you slept very deeply. You slept like a baby. You slept like a log. Okay, a log is like a tree trunk that has been cut down, and it doesn't, it doesn't move. Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be cut down by humans, but it's a piece of wood that's lying flat. Okay, so like this, right? This tree, see this tree? The tree trunk is vertical, right? Let's say this tree dies, or someone cuts it down, or it falls over, and let's say that wood is lying this way, horizontally, then we call it a log. Okay, so a log is not a piece of wood, it's actually a round tree trunk. That's what a log is. Not just any piece of wood. Okay, so like if it's a kind of piece of wood that they use to build a house, it's not a log. They don't use logs to build houses here in Canada. Unless it's a log cabin out in the woods, then they do use, sometimes people do use logs, you know, a round log, and they just stack them on top to build a wall. But for these kinds of houses, they use wood, but the wood has been cut, you know, so it's like kind of like square kind of thing. So that's not a log. A log is a tree trunk. It could be long, or it could even just be kind of short. The length doesn't matter, but it has to be round, and probably got to be at least a few feet long to be called a log. Okay, so if you imagine a log that's just lying on the ground, it doesn't move, right? So that's what we mean when we say I slept like a log. It means you didn't even move. That's how deeply you were sleeping. That's how soundly you were sleeping. You were just out cold. It's another way to say you were completely asleep. You were fast asleep. I was out cold. Right? Again, you can use this for being at the dentist or the doctor. If they are going to do surgery on you, they will either, inject something into your blood, or they'll gas you, and then you will be out cold. Out cold. Okay. So guys, those are some different ways. There are a lot of idioms, right, we use to talk about sleep. So I just wanted to take you on a little walk with me and teach you some of these ways to talk about sleeping. It's good to try to use some of these slang words, right? Because if you always say the same thing in English, that means your English is just kind of basic. You need to become more advanced, and the way you become more advanced in your English speaking is by trying to practice using new ways to say the same thing. So instead of saying, I'm going to go to bed, you can say, I'm going to turn in, or I'm going to hit the hay. I'm going to hit the hay. A lot of men. How many did we do? Was it 12? 15? Maybe more than that? So many different ways to say this, right? So guys, that's it for me. Man, my fingers are freezing off, guys. Gotta go home and warm up. Thank you for smashing that like button, and I hope you guys learned some new words. Just remember, keep practicing, kind of play around with these words. That's how you improve your English. So have fun with these words. And guys, well, with that, if it's late in your neck of the woods, then neck of the woods means your place where you live. If it's late there, I will wish you a good night. Have a great night. Hope you sleep like a baby. Hope you sleep like a log, and nobody disturbs you. Nobody wakes you up when you're fast asleep. So, guys, as always, I love you so much. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy. And as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.